Medical technology, it has this incredible power to save lives, right? But a brilliant idea is honestly just the very first step. The journey from a concept to a tool that a doctor can actually use in a high-stakes situation, well, it's like a maze, just filled with obstacles. Today, we're going to figure out why so many incredible innovations get lost along the way. So that leads us to the big question. Why do so many promising MedTech solutions just fail? I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar question that frustrates innovators, burns out doctors, and definitely worries investors. And this is where things get really interesting. Check out this quote. Most failures come from adoption gaps, not tech. Think about that. The problem usually isn't a bug in the code or a hardware malfunction. It's a failure to connect with the real-world pressures and the day-to-day chaos of healthcare. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a reality that Dr. Amel Havkich, a physician, saw with his own eyes. He was right there on the front lines, watching these powerful, innovative tools fail, not because they were badly made, but because they just couldn't fit into the frantic workflow of a hospital. And that frustration, well, that's what lit the spark for a totally new approach. Okay, so here's our game plan for navigating this maze together. First, we're going to really define this adoption gap. Then, we'll introduce a cool framework called the STAR map, which is designed to bridge that gap. We'll dive into its 7 key principles, and then, and this is the best part, we'll see them in action in a real-world case study of a life-saving sepsis dashboard. After that, we'll pull it all together and look at the key lessons for the future. All right, let's get into it. First up, a navigator for innovators, the EMC STAR map. So what is this STAR map thing anyway? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a GPS, but for medtech companies. It's a strategic system that's built to map out where a company is right now and then chart a really clear course toward what actually matters, getting doctors to use the tool, securing funding, and ultimately scaling up. Okay, so at the very heart of the STAR map, you've got what are called the 7 constellation points. This is the framework, the secret sauce, designed to get a new technology perfectly aligned with the entire healthcare ecosystem. And these right here are the 7 things that absolutely have to be right. You have to ask, does your tool have deep specialization to solve our real problem? Is it predictable in a chaotic workflow? Does it support the move to digital care? How well does it cooperate with the systems already in place? Is it economically viable? Does it actually improve the quality of care? And the big one, how much implementation friction is there? Getting these right is everything. All right, theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. For a case study, we're looking at the Sepsis dashboard, a tool specifically designed to solve that classic medtech problem of just being paper on a screen. So to really get why this dashboard is such a big deal, you have to understand the mess it was designed to fix. Old electronic medical records, they were basically just digital paper. Data was stuck in silos, forcing doctors to hunt and peck for the information they needed. A context-aware dashboard, though, does the exact opposite. It organizes all the relevant data around the patient's clinical need, giving you the whole picture in a single glance. And this is it, the Sepsis dashboard. Take a look. In a single glance, an ICU doctor gets a complete, context-relevant picture of their patient. Data from labs, monitors, medications, it's all pulled together into these simple, intuitive widgets. It takes all that scattered data and turns it into something a doctor can use to make a life-saving decision in seconds. It's a game changer. So the big question is, how did they pull this off? Well, it all comes back to putting that STAR map framework into practice. Let's connect these principles to this incredible real-world success story. Okay, and this slide right here, this is the real aha moment. On the left, you've got the STAR map principles, and on the right, you see them in action. Specialization, boom. The dashboard is focused only on sepsis patients in the ICU. Predictability, it fits right into existing workflows with those intuitive widgets. Cooperation, it pulls in and displays integrated data, labs, vitals, meds, all in one place. And quality of care, it highlights the critical stuff, like the SOFA score and infection trends. This is what perfect alignment looks like. And a success like this doesn't just happen by accident. It came from a super rigorous 4-phase process that was all about clinical context and user involvement. The secret sauce was bringing the actual clinicians, the users, into the development process from day one. That's how they guaranteed the final tool was perfectly aligned with the people who would depend on it. And look, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Or in this case, it's in the data. The dashboard scored a 75.9 on the system usability scale. Now, for those of you who aren't usability nerds, let me just say, that is a really good score. It's hard data that proves this user-centric, clinically aligned approach flat out worked.
Okay, let's wrap this up by looking at what this all means for the future. What are the key takeaways for any innovator out there listening right now?
So, what are the big lessons here? First, and this is the big one, innovation is way more than just cool tech, it's all about alignment. Second, you have to solve a specific, urgent problem for a very defined user. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Third, design your solution to fit into real-world workflows, not blow them up. You also have to prove your value with numbers, show a measurable impact. And finally, just do everything in your power to minimize the friction for adoption. Make it easy.
And all of this really boils down to one final, crucial question that every innovator out there has to ask themselves. Is your creation just a piece of technology, or is it a true aligned solution? Because in the world of healthcare, that distinction, that's the difference between failure and success.